place just a moment.
The only thing I think you could do at this point is to fix it instead of having an auto find.
Ready? I'll call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for the record. Mayor Lindsay?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Crane? Not here. Counselor Howe?
Here.
Counselor Weeks?
Here.
And Counselor Curry?
Here.
We have a quorum. You may proceed.
Okay, at this time I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item A under new business.
And item B.
Oh, and item B.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item A and B under new business.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Could you please get a motion for the approval of the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, did we have any requests or responses from the audience? Okay. Mr. Jeremy Strickland?
Mayor, Councilman, Clerk Strickland, I'm just here to give a little bit of appreciation to some of the members that live here in the valley. So approximately 2.5, 3 weeks ago, we had an incident that happened, and it was late at night. An individual had a child that was in some very dire straits, and these individuals stepped up without having to be asked, and really gave a lot to be able to help this child. So I want to recognize them at this time. So if I could have Adrian come up real quick. Adrian, thank you for what you do. I really do appreciate it. Okay. This is a letter of commendation, and I'd like to give you a coin. Okay. Adrian worked on a child for about an hour doing CPR, and he is a nurse for the Eagle Nest Elementary School, and he stepped up that night when he heard the call. So I wanted to recognize him. So, thank you. Yep, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. In similar vein, Jillian, would you please come up? So, Jillian was the first to interact with this situation. She opened her home and had the child on her dining room table, and so she was intimately involved in this situation. And I wanted to congratulate her and thank you for the service you gave to our community. So a letter of commendation for you and a coin. Thank you, Jillian. I appreciate it. Just a little something that we can do to recognize those who step up. And that was my time. I appreciate it.
Moving on, do we have any announcements or proclamations by the council?
Trust Committee's meeting on Thursday. We're going to be working on a comprehensive plan for the Allen Fields. If anybody wants to come, 8:30 a.m. right here. It's going to be exciting stuff, so get any input, come on down.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, we have a streets and infrastructure meeting this coming Monday at 1 p.m. here.
All right. Trails and Parks and Trails at Thursday at 8:30?
Yeah.
And Streets and Infrastructure Monday at 1.
Correct.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, moving on to our director reports. First up this evening, we have our Planning and Zoning Director, Rich Aguilar.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland.
Planning and zoning, we're up to 56 permits, 15 new since March, 4 of which are encroachment. 2 of those include 2 new construction, 1 sign, 5 deck permits, 3 permit extensions, 1 fence, and 1 with a new siding on the home. Only got 1 new lot combination in the last month. And then our planning and zoning commission meeting is set for May 7th at 3 p.m. And also working with Santos on the night sky stuff. And that's all I have. Staff, for any questions? Thank you.
Very much. Next is Project Director Rocky Lira.
Mayor Lindsay, Council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. Let me share my screen here. Bear with me, please. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna start out with going through a slew of grants, which has been kind of a focus over the last couple months. And first off is the FY27 tourism grant. It's a tourism event growth. We applied for $50,000 with a 5K match. And basically the crux of that was to request funds for digitally advertising village music series events. And then the next one was the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration. There was a grant that was available for animal welfare program. And so we applied for about $190,000. Sounds like a lot, but most of it was the turf. And this is for a new dog park east of the Mountain View Event Center. It'll include watering stations for animals, exercise equipment for animals, fencing, and of course the artificial turf, which I understand is a special turf that's made for animals. There's a FY26 Law Enforcement Reimbursement Fund. Closing up, what did I miss up here? Sorry. The New Mexico True Green Beautiful Grant. There's a Beautify Communities program within the New Mexico True. And so this was a little different. So I applied for picnic tables and benches for the Mountain View Event Center, water bottle refill station, and 2 village cleanup days be included with that. This is an FY27 grant, so it won't affect the spring cleanup day, but we'll be able to utilize the grant should we get it for fall. For law enforcement, unfortunately, there weren't any applications that I've been able to submit for. The FY27 Law Enforcement Reimbursement Fund wasn't available. We don't know if it's because of the new administration or the old administration going out or whatever, but it was not available. But next year, there'll be some key grant applications planned for next year. And one of them is the Edward Byrne JAG grant program, which is due in March. And then the LEPF Law Enforcement Protection Fund, which is also due in March. So I'll be applying for those. Regarding grant administration, there was an FY26 Law Enforcement Reimbursement Fund I just talked about. Closing out the last quarter, Q2. With that remaining balance, there's no more. That grant has been expended, and there will be no more reporting for Q3 and 4. For the coalitions and collaboratives, this is the AIM grant. If you recall, Lindsay Reed was our fire ambassador, and so that contract has been fulfilled 100%. In fact, even greater than that with our in-kind matching, as we're 150% over the in-kind. But I'm still working to complete a closeout report, and Lindsay's still helping me with that, even though she's not employed with us at this time. So for capital appropriation loans, the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, DFA, we're applying for $100,000. And what we plan on using that $100,000 for is to complete paving and gutters to the entrance of the workforce housing entrance on 434. So between Highway 434 and West Flamingo Road, we plan on hopefully to pave about 200 feet back on West Flamingo Road, and also the entrances to Zeb's and to Builders First Source from Flamingo Road. And applied for a watershed protection assistance program. We applied for $30,000. It's a joint project with the Angel Fire Resort. This was for restoring the wetlands along Cieneguilla Creek near the end of North Angel Fire Road. And the funding will be used to basically beef up the existing infrastructures that are there. Some more appropriations here. The State of New Mexico Workforce Solutions, this is kind of a fun one. It's a RFI, request for information. This is a new one that came about. Its funding is earmarked for statewide homelessness and for workforce housing. So the application in process right now for phase 2, there's two different pots of money, if you will. One of them's $30 million. The $30 million, you have to expend the funds by the June 30th, 27. And then the $26 million, the expenditures need to be spent by June 30, 2030. So we do have some planned for that particular grant. We'd like to apply for some things for phase 2. Do you want me to explain what we're doing there? So the $30 million grant, my thought is, since it has to be expended by June 30th, 2027, is to request for full pavement, all of workforce housing, the West Flamingo Road and also Rocky Road, to have that completely paved, since we put that off to purchase the 7 homes. And we'd also like to apply for covered decks for each of the 30 homes, to take away the steps and maybe make a covered deck for each one of those. And maybe the last thing on that particular $30 million would be to purchase the property for phase 2. We'd be all set for phase 2 if we can get that there.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
on
sir,
that too?
absolutely.
What about perimeter fencing around the workforce housing project as well? Just because I vision kids playing,
Mhm.
we kind of need a defined yard area to be playing there. Just some
That's a good thought,
consideration.
that's a good thought, and this is a good time, maybe that's something I'll add to that. I like that idea. What are your thoughts on perimeter fencing, like to keep elk out, or what are we talking about here?
Just so kids know where they're playing and where.
Maybe the playground.
Like just around the perimeter?
A little park, we have an area there that we've designated, I mean, it's.
We have 2 areas that could be
parks.
utilized for playgrounds, 2 greenbelt areas. Yeah, if we're gonna do that, we should take it to the Workforce Housing Committee and get their recommendation. And, my thought would be we fence the whole thing.
Good idea. Thank you, Council. For the second wave of money, the $26 million that's expended 2030, that would be a request to build as many homes as we can on that purchased land for the phase 2. Our first thought is 15 homes. We're thinking these homes are 1,400 square feet, and I understand that these will probably be primarily for purchase and not for rent. Any questions on that? Okay, here's another one here, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Community Facilities Guaranteed Loan Program. I'm currently just investigating this loan. One of the things that we're thinking of is to fund the Mountain View Event Center. The applications will focus on space for conferences and meetings and weddings, dedications, potential fire evacuation center. These are all the things that were key elements in this grant. They do not want us to mention anything about music and entertainment and recreation, and this is really the primary focus of that building. So it's a 35 to 40 year loan at 4.75% interest, which is a market rate, not the greatest interest. So we're still investigating to see if that's even something we want to do. And there are some challenges for applying for this. We need to go to the banks and get 3 denials, I guess, from 3 different banks that weren't able to get the funding. And there's a couple of other things we have to go through, but we'll be working through that as we go. For a project update, the Workforce Housing Phase 1, my focus is completing the construction of the last 24 homes, the remaining 24 homes. Zia Factory Outlet was selected as the vendor for the 7 homes, pending council approval, okay? It's on the agenda tonight for that approval. The goal here is to have those 7 homes completed by the end of July 2026. And then continuing in that, the cost estimate, we did receive a cost estimate from Sustainability Partners for the remaining 17 homes, which makes it 24. We're estimating that particular monthly fee is estimated to be $1,250 per month, including the concrete foundation package. This is pretty awesome price. quite a bit less than what we paid for the initial 6 in that property. So I'm thinking we're hoping the completion will be by August 30, 2026. And the goal would be to have all 30 homes occupied with tenants by the end of September. All 24 homes. Because they'll be working in parallel. Some other beautifying Angel Fire projects, the Garden Club project. There's a $15,000 contract to Cayenne Mejia, which will include 2 village staff to assist her. The staff will be working just 2 hours, 2 days in a month. But that contract is actually out to Cayenne. It's to landscape a variety of plant beds in 7 to 9 buildings in the median and North Angel Fire Road. This will also include some decorative flags on light poles instead of hanging baskets. I'm not sure what those flags will look like, but they're going to be kind of festive and replace a lot of the older planters that are around and broken. And then I'd like to announce the Clean and Beautiful Cleanup Day, which is June 13th, 2026. We need volunteers to help clean up our village. And if you are interested, there's a contact here. You can contact Thea Maestas at this email address, tmaestas@angelfirenm.gov. And soon we'll have a phone number, but right now all we've got is an email at this point. Thank you. And at that point, if there's any questions on any of the things that I've talked about, I'd be glad to answer them.
No, and what Rocky reminded me with all of this, which I should have reported earlier in announcements and proclamations, but Mr. Lira, Manager Weir, and Santos Martinez and I had the opportunity to meet one-on-one with Joseph Sanchez, our state representative, last week, and had a really productive meeting, getting all this sort of thing in front of him, what we've done, what we're looking to further accomplish, and so we feel good about getting a head start on conversations with him for the next legislative session.
Yeah, awesome, great. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up this evening is our Finance Director, Adrian Rendon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager and Clerk. I've only got a couple things for you tonight. ClearGov is now live. It's the tool that we were using to share basically the village checkbook online. And so the website was updated, the Angel Fire website was updated today. So there's a link there that you can use to jump over to it, and then you'll be able to see what they're tracking for us. Just caveat, when we looked this one, it was brought to my attention that they duplicated data. And so what we suspect happened is the last time whenever we sent them our file, rather than overwriting the old data, they appended to it. And so they basically doubled our numbers. It's been brought to their attention, and so they're pretty quick about getting that type of stuff updated. So I suspect, it was pretty late this afternoon when I let them know, but by tomorrow, they should have that fixed. The only other thing that I have is that the FY27 budget drill is essentially complete. We're basically just doing a little bit of cleanup on it. So we're a few weeks ahead of schedule compared to where we were last year. And it looks like we're planning to spend roughly about somewhere between 2 to 2.5 million more than we're gonna earn, but we do have a cash pool to cover that. Our goal remains consistent, which was to finish this year, FY26, with a $3 million cash pool. So that's what's gonna cover that difference. If there's any questions, I stand for.
So thank you very much. Next up is our Parks and Recreation Director, Shay Kidlish.
Good evening. I just have a few updates, nothing major. At the Allen Fields, we're going to be working on master plan, like Councilor Rakes had mentioned. Tonight on the agenda, we're requesting put an RFP out for the lighting with Dennis Engineering, and that'll be later. We've got some soccer going on out there, softball tournaments getting set up. I'm gonna have the backstops and everything put up come this week or beginning of next week, and bathrooms will be out there starting May 1st. At the center, just regular, everything regular is happening. We've got pickleball, volleyball, and a few events that are coming up. Just fixing random tiles that are breaking. That's like a nonstop thing that we have to do. Looking into checking on doing some landscaping of the playground. So, since we have that nice playground up there now, I wanna do a little bit of landscaping around it, and working on figuring out numbers to have the day camp happen again this year if possible. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, this evening, under director reports, we have our comprehensive plan consultant, Santos Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. So the last issues of housing, quality of life have been completed. I've sent those out to the respective departments for their review like we've done all the other chapters. So the police department, fire department received their narratives today for feedback. So I'll be starting your executive summary. I shared with the mayor earlier that completing your housing chapter, there's some achievements I think should be highlighted. In 2020, Colfax County did an affordable housing study. And in that study, they looked at the county overall, municipalities within the county, and in Angel Fire, they had recommended between Angel Fire and Eagle Nest, 50 new rental units be delivered, between 30 and 120% AMI, and then 50 new first-time homebuyers, homes be built. You're on track to do 30 of the 50 by the end of this year. So the other note that I was able to capture is that everywhere else we've seen the median price of everything in Angel Fire always be higher when compared to the state of New Mexico or Colfax County. The exception is rents. Rental median rents are actually lower in Angel Fire when compared to the state median rent average. And part of it is just the supply of rental units in the village. But that said, from 2010 to 2024, the amount of rental units added into the inventory has increased tremendously. So just some nuggets in the housing chapter. On the quality of life, I'm finishing up the wetlands and then the night sky a discussion into that as well. And then I'll be forwarding your executive summary to wrap this all up. And everybody has reviewed the chapters by departments, so I feel confident that the goals are the ones that they feel comfortable with. Whatever I heard that I might have misunderstood, the departments and the committees have been able to clarify how they prefer it to be said, so I think it's going to be a really good product. Stand for any questions you may have.
So we have another follow-up meeting, kind of like the ones we've had on the main chapter.
Yeah, I'm going to email you. We had comments back from the resort on parks and trails, because there's a section about the mountain, the golf course. So we've got that feedback. There were some updates that they had on the tourism chapter. So Greg's looked at that as well. So yeah, I will email electronic copy for council. We're going to take this conversation next Thursday at Plan Commission as well, so that we can just see whatever edits remain and get this final product to council.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to new business, moving into item C. I'd like to open a discussion to approve resolution 2026-28, economic development tax on Colfax County ballot. Mr. Ralph.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Weeks, Clerk Strickland. I'm here this evening.
Manager Weeks.
Hey, is there something else should have told us?
Sorry, Manager Weir, sorry. I apologize. Can we strike that from the record? All right, off to a great start. I'm here this evening to propose a economic development tax of 0.25% that would be added to our GRT. It would take the current level of GRT in the village of Angel Fire from 7.5208% to 7.7708%. Still in line with most communities in New Mexico in terms of total GRT collected. it could potentially raise for us approximately $25,000 a month or $300,000 a year to help with economic development, facilities, specifically the event center and other things that the village identifies as necessary for economic development in this community. The ordinance, the part that I need to read, bear with me please. Shall the village of Angel Fire impose an economic development tax at a rate of 0.025% to fund incentives, provide public support for projects, and improve the community's economic well-being and overall quality of life? Any questions for me on this? If it's approved, it will go to the county to be put on the ballot for November.
And then it would go into effect 1 July next year,
The calendar year.
Yes,
calendar year.
yes, calendar year, December 1, January 1.
And this was basically what our tax rate was just a few years ago before the state cut the GRT rate and the village just went down versus holding steady. Any other questions for Mr. Ralph? Counselor Howe, if you would make a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-28, economic development tax on Colfax County ballot.
Second.
Roll call vote on item C. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item D, I'd like to open discussion to approve the Taos County Detention Center contract for detainee confinement. Chief Holbrook.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager, and Clerk. This is just a continuation of the current contract that we have in place. Monetary amounts did not change, terms did not change to it. Just trying to get a head start because our current contract will expire on July 1. So keep this in place so we have the ability to house detainees in Taos as well as in Raton at Villa Maldonado. It's worth mentioning, I do not have that renewed contract yet, but I hope to bring it at the next regular council meeting for consideration.
How much use have we made of this Taos contract?
Not very much, at least not that we've had to pay for. Mostly when I have used it would be when we have had an arrest of somebody who had an outstanding warrant from Taos or Taos County, and they were transported there. We get no billing for those.
Okay.
And then 2 times, they were full, we couldn't take them there,
Okay, thank you.
for me.
Right.
Other questions? I'm gonna ask Counselor how to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the Taos County Detention Center contract for detainee confinement.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item D. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, item E is just discussion on RFP for construction of a public safety tower. Chief Holbrook.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I just want to keep yourself and the council apprised that we have an appropriation of, I believe, $100,000 was originally. There has been a few $1,000s spent from that. We have not been successful in finding a vendor that is willing to construct a tower for us that can do all of the CID requirements, which unfortunately for us, for a public safety use tower requires core sampling and other things that otherwise would not be required if it was not a local government or a public safety type use. So in discussions with Chief Vance and with Julie,
and the manager, we decided to send this out for an RFP for construction of a tower that we have identified that fits our needs, that we would purchase. The cost of that tower would be about $15,000, but we still need somebody licensed in New Mexico through CID to do the actual construction and erect that tower. It would be approximately 100 feet. It would be located where our current antennas are at the Aspen Tower site, and we do have the land, approximately 1 acre, just above the Aspen tanks that's identified for this and has had some improvements to it. And this particular tower with 3 guide wires does fit on that footprint. So I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the mayor and council that we are proceeding with this, or intend to proceed with this. The advertisement has been paid for and will come out in Thursday's Taos News. And of course, we will push it out to vendors and try to get some bids.
Thank you for that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, moving on to item F, next open discussion to approve a supplemental agreement with Franken Construction. Chief Vance.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. We are requesting approval for the contractual agreement with Franken Construction for the contractor services related to the construction of Fire Station 1. All supplemental documents and scope adjustments prepared by Hartman and Majowski Design Group have been fully vetted by the village manager and legal counsel. The supplemental agreement is necessary to ensure the continuity of construction, maintain project timelines, and align the station build-out with operational needs identified during pre-construction and early construction phases through obtaining all the way through obtaining a certificate of occupancy and move-in. The estimated construction timeline is approximately 300 days from permitting. And due to the excellent and expeditious work of Kurt Epler, the Public Works and Streets divisions, we are positioned for success with the ideal timing to meet our projected start date in May. My recommendation is to approve item F and to allow us to proceed with the supplemental agreement with Franken Construction so we can maintain momentum in the Fire Station 1 project. I'll stand for any questions.
Chief, is that 300 continuous days?
Yes, sir. There's some language in the contract for weather delays and things that are not controllable, you know, acts of nature and things like that. But there's also a schedule of, what's the term for that? A restructuring program and how we can hold payments back if there are delays caused by the contractor or other.
So with all the snow we're gonna get next winter?
Yes, sir. Well, hopefully it's not snowing in August next year and we're done by then. But September's gonna be a heavy one. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I would just like to congratulate Chief Vance on getting to this point. I've been watching him work, I would say working with him, but he's been doing the great majority of the work. And it took a lot of work. He's put a lot of effort on top of his other duties to negotiate this contract and to get it to where it is today. So I just want to congratulate you, Chief Vance, on your accomplishments towards a new fire station.
Thank you, sir. It's a group effort.
Questions or comments? Councilor, how would you make a motion on item F?
I make a motion to approve supplemental agreement with Franken Construction.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item F. Counselor Hop,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. Item G for discussion, that's to approve the purchase of a new brush truck. Chief Vance.
Yes, sir. We have a purchase agreement from Rebel in Las Vegas, Nevada for the purchase of a 2026 Rebel Striker brush truck. We are requesting your approval to proceed. The purchase would be made using Wildland Enterprise funds. This would not be coming from general funds. These are monies obtained from deployments and other sources. This has been vetted by the Director of Finance, the Chief Procurement Officer, and Manager Weir. The vehicle that it's going to replace is a 2017. We had multiple call-outs last year where this vehicle broke down and left us without fulfilling our 14-day contracts that we had agreed to, so all of those billable days were not obtained. These mechanical issues have repeatedly reduced our serviceability and directly impacted our ability to maintain billable days on assignment, on fire assignments. This potentially has affected how often we are called out and deployed on wildland fires. Angel Fire has gained a reputation because of those unfortunate breakdowns that our vehicles break down often, so I think they don't send us out as often. So this is directly to address that. My recommendation is that you proceed with approving item G to allow us to proceed with this purchase.
Assuming we proceed, when would you receive this new truck?
I'm leaving on a flight Thursday morning, and I'll drive it back and have it here by Sunday evening.
Where is it?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Councilor Howe, if you would make a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I would also like to state that one of the advantages of approving this purchase is that it should actually increase our revenue. We do have a job opening for
Engine boss.
for a new engine boss, so then we'll have 2 engine bosses, which means we can send 2 crews out on deployment when they're called upon. So it actually, this truck should pay for itself over the next few years because we'll be able to deploy more frequently.
Councilor Howe?
Make a motion to approve purchase of a new brush truck.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item G. Counselor Howe?
Aye.
Counselor Weeks?
Aye.
And Counselor Curry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, item H, I'd like to open discussion to approve resolution 2026-29, various bars.
Yes, sir. This is, well, you've seen these before. It's just adjustments to the budget. And so whenever we built the FY26 budget, we kind of generalized where we're going to do our spending. And as we go through the year, we have to be more specific because we classify the money into object classes. And so that's what these bars do. They move that money into the GLs.
Any questions or comments? Councilor Howe?
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-29, various bars.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item H. Counselor Howe?
Aye.
Counselor Weeks?
Aye.
And Counselor Curry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'd like to open discussion to approve resolution 2026-30, various bars.
Same speech as before. That's it for questions.
And for the audience, a bar is a budget adjustment request.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the acronym.
Yes, and a GL is general ledger.
Thank you, Councilor Howe.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-30, various bars.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item I. Counselor Howe?
Aye.
Counselor Weeks?
Aye.
And Counselor Curry?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. Item J, I'd like to open discussion to approve amendment 2 between the Village of Angel Fire and Dubois and King, Inc. Mr. Gilmer.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Village Council, Kurt Slickland and Mr. Weir. So we have been using Dubois and King now since we took over the airport, both as our consulting firm. They're an aviation expert consulting firm out of the East Coast, also as our engineer of record. So they were critical in putting together our package that is at the FAA now for approval. So I'm asking that we continue our work with them through February 28th of next year. And that's all that this is. Stand for any questions?
Councilor Knight.
I make a motion to approve amendment number 2 between the Village of Angel Fire and Du Bois and King Inc.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item J. Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, item K, I'd like to open discussion to approve amendment to Dennis Engineering Company Owner-Engineer Agreement. Ms. Timish.
Good evening again. As I mentioned before, seeking approval to amend the contract with Dennis Engineering in regard to the Allen Fields and to have them head up the lighting project, the RFP, and then during the construction phase.
And approximately what do we think this might come in at?
For the lighting altogether, well, we were told around 600,000. But the statewide agreement that we got was 1.2 million, and that's why we were putting it out for RFP, because we believe that it'll come in lower than that, so.
And Mr. Mayor, I did, when the statewide agreement came in at 1.2, I started calling vendors. And I actually, pre this RFP, got a quote from one vendor for about 400,000 to do the project.
Any questions? More questions?
Councilor Howard, you make a motion on item K.
Make a motion to approve amendment to Dennis Engineering Company Owner-Engineer Agreement.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item K. Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Yeah, item L, I'd like to open discussion to approve permission to proceed with submitting notice of award resulting from RFP 2026-002 for the workforce housing project.
Yes.
Mr. Lera.
Mayor Lindsay, Council Manager Weir, and Clerk Strickland. First of all, I'd like to say that this RFP to purchase 7 homes with the addition of a concrete foundation, installation of stem walls was a good success. 2 vendors responded with proposals. One was deemed non-responsive, and the other one was Zia Factory Outlet, who complied with all of the RFP requirements. Zia's proposal was then distributed to an evaluation team of 4 people, and the results of the evaluation were unanimous, and the recommendation to move forward was made by that evaluation team. So I'd like to give special thanks to our evaluators, Chief Hogriff, Ileana Strickland, Brandon Prather, Ricky Aguilar, and also Julie Coolan for our procurement, because with that team, we were able to pull this together really quickly. So therefore, I'm asking for council's approval to proceed with submitting a notice of award to Zia Factory Outlet. I'll answer any questions. If you want to know the price they've submitted. The price for the homes, for 7 homes, was $148,000 each, which included the foundation and the stem walls and the whole works.
Delivery setup.
Delivery, setup, the whole works, and steps.
There's 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom?
They're basically the same units that we have there, except they're a little better construction. To be honest, we were a little disappointed that the exterior walls were 2x4 construction on these. So these are gonna be 2x6 construction, and the interior walls are 2x4 construction. So the R value will be increased for the exterior and the floor and the wall and the ceiling.
And am I correct that the ones you're discussing have drywall finishes versus paneling?
No, that's not the case. The drywall would have been a lot extra cost, and we decided that there was additional costs upon transporting those homes here, of repair of the cracked drywall when they get here. So it would have been great once they're all settled, but it'd been a lot of expense up front, and we just want to keep the rents low.
So where is the factory outlet from?
They're out of Santa Fe.
Okay. And I would hope we would have gotten more than 2 bids. Do you have any idea why only 2 vendors bid?
I don't know that. I did send that out to about 7 vendors that I knew of personally, that I've met through conferences and et cetera. And I think the big deal was, there was a lot of vendors that could sell us the homes, but they could not do the concrete package as well. That was something they just weren't willing to partnered with subcontractors to do,
Okay.
where Zia was.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, Councilman, I almost called you Mayor Pro Tem. By having those in the original units, because the pads in the stem walls and the installation was a separate company, it cost us about $20,000, not quite, but almost $20,000 more per unit. So by having a single vendor do the entire development and installation, we were able to save approximately $20,000 a unit, and that's why we went that route. But a lot of the providers aren't able to provide both services.
Okay, thank you.
And time as well. We should save a lot of time this way as well, correct?
Yes, we should save a lot of time and a lot of effort on our part. We'll see.
Let's see, you got all the things like, that we kinda learned our lesson on the last one, that they were all asked and agreed to this one.
Yes. Pretty sure I caught up on all those. As little as even the steps, I mean, that was an afterthought.
Councilor Allen?
I make a motion to approve permission to proceed with submitting notice of award resulting from RFP 2026-002 for the workforce housing project.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item L. Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to item M. Open discussion to approve the Sky Elements drone show contract.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. I'm here this evening to present the Sky Elements Drone Show. The reason I am here for council approval, it is a 3-year agreement. The last one was also a 3-year agreement. It was initiated between the resort and the drone company, and the village split the cost. This one, now the village is taking over the contract with the company, and the resort is gonna split the cost with us on it, and we're gathering other sponsors to help provide the show. The cost of the show is $43,500 a year. We have added pyrotechnic drones on it. So with everything proceeding as normal in the forest, we will have a drone show that will have fireworks on the drone. So it'll be a pretty spectacular show. It's basically $3,000, $3,500 more than we paid in the past for a year.
How many drones is it, Greg?
It's 200 drones. And the company is very adjustable. So after we have a great summer, the phenomenal winter, and the lodgers tax coffers are full, I'll be going for a 500 drone show next year. Just being optimistic.
So will the cost sharing go into the cost of each, or is that above that?
No, it would be half this, yeah.
Okay.
How many drones were there last year?
There were 200 last year. Our first 2 shows were 100 each. The second year, as everybody remembers, there was a technical glitch. And if you could see the logos, you were magical. So we negotiated with them, we got twice as many drones last year. 200 drone show really lights up the sky a lot better. It's a lot more impact, a lot more clarity to the show. And Sky Elements is one of the leading drone production companies in the United States. They were a finalist on America Got Talent. They have a good reputation, other than our second year show.
The agreement to split it with the resort, is that just kind of like do we have like an official?
It's a handshake. Wolf and I have been discussing it. Wolf's ready to take the contract to John to get his approval.
Greg has been soliciting sponsors at higher levels this year to help absorb some of that cost as well. I should say training.
Trini's been working hard.
I'm from training.
Any other questions or discussion on item M? Counselor Howland.
I make a motion to approve Sky Elements drone shows contract.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item N. Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, item N, I'd like to open discussion to approve Maverick RCM in place of MP Cloud. Chief Vance.
Good evening again. We were recently notified by our medical billing company that they were hiring out all of the services for medical billing. They had already been working out the details of that in the background, and they've already been performing that for about 30 days. They have two sides to their business, and they want to focus more on their software implementation sides. A lot of other medical billing companies use their software to extrapolate information. So they notified us that they were gonna be moving to Maverick RCM. While this contract change does not meet the financial threshold for requiring formal council approval, we felt it was appropriate to notify council due to its operational significance and the original we're assuming the original contract length of 3 years. So all functions of medical billing process and conditions of the contract will remain exactly the same as the agreement that I placed before you in February that we approved. We're just simply gonna change the name over to the new company. This transition ensures the continuity of service and no operational impact of the department. We've had a couple of meetings, Zoom meetings, and we feel pretty confident. And then MP Cloud is a really small company. There's really just 2 individuals that run the company, and they're out in South Carolina. And they reassured us that they'll be there for us for the long haul, and I feel confident in their statements. And so we'll continue on if you guys will approve line item G to allow us to proceed with the contract change. Excuse me, item N. Any questions about that? Really just moving from one company to the next.
I'll ask Counselor how to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve Maverick RCM in place of MP Cloud.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item N. Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, item O, I'd like to open discussion to approve a premises expansion for liquor license number RLD-00000002. Manager Weir.
Yes, Mayor and Council, y'all do have this letter from the resort, but I've been asked by the resort to read it into the record. So this is a letter from Angel Fire Resort to the Honorable Mayor and members of the Village Council. Dear Mayor and Council, this letter is submitted on behalf of Angel Fire Resort Operations LLC in support of the resort's request for local option district approval of premises expansion of rural dispenser license RDL-000002 held at Angel Fire Country Club. What is being proposed is the resort holds rural dispenser license RDL-000002, which has covered the golf course and country club for decades. The license authorizes on-premises sale and consumption of alcohol beverages within the licensed footprint and does not authorize package sales. The resort proposes to add the new tennis and pickleball center, including the pro shop, the tennis and pickleball court, and the immediately adjacent area, not Olympic Park, to the licensed footprint. No new license is being issued, no transfer of location is occurring, no change in license type is proposed, and no package sales are being added. Why the resort is requesting it? The Tennis and Pickleball Center is a resort recreational amenity that operates as part of the broader country club operation, like the golf course itself. The expansion will allow the resort to operate the Tennis and Pickleball Pro Shop consistently with how the Golf Pro Shop has been operated for many years. Members and guests may purchase a beverage at the Pro Shop and consume it within the licensed area. This brings the new amenity into the same operational and regulatory framework that has governed the golf course without incident throughout the resort's history. Scope and control consumption. The explained licensed area will be limited to the pro shop and the tennis and pickleball court complex. 5 permanent boundary signs will be installed at the perimeter, clearly identifying the licensed boundary and prohibiting alcohol beyond that point. Signs adjacent to the playground area will specifically identify that area as off limits to alcohol. Patrons will not be permitted to carry alcohol into the parking lot areas, onto San Mateo Drive, or into Olympic Park playground. Pro shop staff will be trained accordingly, and all servers will hold current New Mexico alcohol server permits. The size of the addition. The tennis and pickleball parcel is approximately 12.4 acres. The existing licensed country club premises. The golf course and the clubhouse area is materially larger. The expansion is well under the 25% threshold that under New Mexico law and ABC regulations would trigger consideration of a transfer of location. This is properly handled as a routine premise expansion. State review. The resort has been working with the New Mexico Alcoholic Beverage Control Division on this matter. Following preliminary review by the division director, ABC has confirmed that the proposed boundary is acceptable and has directed the resort to obtain local option district approval, as is the next step. After the council's action, the resort will complete the floor plan expansion application with ABC, including the council's signed approval on the application form. Public health, safety, and welfare. The expansion does not bring the licensed premises within 300 feet of any church or school. The village has already reviewed and approved the construction of the tennis and pickleball center and pro shop, which is nearing completion. The resort holds record title to the parcel. The resort respectfully submits the expansion poses no detriment to the public health, safety, or welfare in the village. We're getting close. Materials. The following materials have been provided to the village clerk in advance and are part of the record before the council. The original approved 1999 boundary map for license RDL-00002. The proposed expansion boundary map dated November 21st, 2025. The Reynolds Ash site plan for the tennis and pickleball center, supplemented to show the 5 boundary signage locations, correspondence with the ABC division, a copy of the existing license certificate, and the ABC floor plan expansion application, with a local option district review block ready for the appropriate village officials' signature upon council approval. The resort respectfully requests that the council approve the premises expansion and authorize execution of the LOD review block on the ABC floor plan expansion application. Finally, I regret that I'm unable to present this evening. The village manager Weir graciously agreed to read this letter unto the record on the resort's behalf. Should the council have questions that require my response before voting, I'm available by telephone, his telephone number, and would welcome the opportunity to address any concerns directly. I otherwise appreciate the council's consideration and respectfully ask for approval. Respectfully submitted, Angel Fire Resort Operations LLC, Mark Manley, General Counsel.
No further questions or discussion? Counselor Howell, you can make a motion.
I make a motion to approve premises expansion of liquor license number RLD 000002.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item O. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on to item P, I'd like to open discussion to approve the appointment of Mel Sales to the Workforce Housing Committee. As you may know, we recently, reached out to fill some vacancies on some committees, and Mel volunteered for the Workforce Housing Committee. I've worked with Mel professionally in real estate and in construction, and I think she'd be a great addition. Questions or comments? Counselor Howe?
Make a motion to approve appointment of Mel Sales to the Workforce Housing Committee.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item P. Counselor Howe?
Aye.
Counselor Weeks?
Aye.
And Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And finally, this evening, we have our manager's report, Brett Reeder.
Mr. Mayor, Council, just a few items. As we described earlier, last week we met with our representative to discuss our future needs of the village and how through this upcoming legislative session we can work with our representatives to achieve the goals of the village. We have a similar meeting scheduled on May 28th with Senator Pete Campos. The assessor's office yesterday had a presentation here on property taxes and to try and educate the public on the different ways in which you can save money on property taxes. There are some things that can be done. As a matter of fact, somewhere back here, I think it's up on the wall, on your way out, if you'd like, I recommend you pull a sheet out that lists out all your options for property taxes that were left in the fact that, or in the case that you didn't attend the meeting. But that meeting went well, and I just wanted to remind the council and the public that at this time, the May 12th meeting has been canceled. So the 26th of May will be the next council meeting. And then finally, I want to notify the council that I will be out of the office and somewhat attainable, but mostly unattainable from May 9th to May 17th. And Chief Hogriff will be standing as the village manager in my absence.
Is that the
I'm sorry?
was the presentation recorded?
No, I mean, we turned the recorder on, but it wasn't really a presentation. It was more people just asking the assessor questions. And so, I don't know, did we publish that?
Yes, it is
Oh,
on
we
YouTube
did?
if you want to view it.
It's not really a presentation, though.
But you could listen to people's questions and kind of get.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't look at it, but.
Yes, Mr. Battershell?
Well, I've been Trinidad, okay. I've been working up in Trinidad, Raton area, and I did check on the due taxes and things like that this morning when I checked in there at the assayor's office. May 1st is the last day to file a protest. And he went ahead and explained what the increases were, why they were, and if you've been a long time resident here in Angel Fire, you know it's not that much for what we're getting. So, the reason I noticed it, because I had almost a $5,000 increase on taxable value. So, that's where you're at on that. And it will surprise, because the assayer who was in the office said there were a lot of people starting to call and find out, but May 1st is your last day.
Thank you. Anything else? Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, I'm sure the assessor talked about the legislative changes in assessment for veterans. And if there's any veteran interested, I could probably help a little bit on that. And there is a VSO in-house that can handle all that paperwork.
Thank you very much. All right, if there's nothing further, this meeting is adjourned.